Daniel Lewa, you have $100 in your disposable income, and you're really asking yourself, this $100 at the Lego store can only go to one place in the Lego Fortnite section. Your choices being the Lego Peely Bone or the Lego Fortnite Battle Bus.
No Cole's Titan Dragon Bag. I don't know. First, I need $100. So,
guys, use creator code SAKUGA in the item shop and we'll get Daniel that $100. But let's just deep dive into this. I built both the Battle Bus and the Peely Bone as well as the Durr Burger, and I want to outweigh the pros and the cons of both. Because it's just interesting that there are two, you don't see that often in a wave of sets where there are two of the exact same price point, especially $100. Isn't that like a little bit interesting?
Yeah, that's pretty uncommon. There's usually always like one set price bracket per set.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. So that's why I thought it'd be good to compare these two, because they are very different, even starting at face value with the box, right? One of them is marketed as an 18 plus set and one of them is marketed as a non 18 plus set.
That's probably one of the reasons why they did do the same price, because it's in their minds marketed towards different groups, so It wouldn't be cannibalizing the sales necessarily.
Let's go through mine and Daniel Lewa's categories of how we quantify the validity and legitimacy and quote-unquote dopeness of a Lego set. First and foremost, we think about price and value. Pieces kind of go into that a little bit. We have the Battle Bus for just a little bit under 1,000 pieces, and we have the Peely Bone for a little bit over 1,400 pieces. So if you're purely going off the price to piece ratio, you would actually get a better value with the Lego Peely Bone.
Yeah, piece-wise. And generally, while it doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, you get more plastic for your buck, the amount of pieces can have a big impact on the amount of time spent building, complexity aside. But the more pieces there are, and 40% more pieces in Peely Bone almost than the Battle Bus, so it's naturally going to be a bit longer of a building experience.
And it definitely felt that way. It felt like that extra 400 plus pieces, it made it such a bigger set to build. And I could really feel it. There was a lot more bags than the Battle Bus. It felt like a much larger set. Also visually looks just like a larger set next to the Battle Bus. And of course we got to take the minifigures into account, right, Daniel Lewa? Because sometimes I say the minifigures is what really holds value sometimes. If they never do a Raven minifigure again, or Drift, or Cuddle Team Leader, or any of them, because all 10 minifigures in the Battle Bus are unique to that set, then that just makes the value go higher and higher and higher. So maybe it is a better value for having 10 minifigures in it.
And it all depends on what you're going for. If you don't care about minifigs, of course you're going to get the Battle Bus. If you don't care about minifigs that much, then that's not going to really matter to you. But who knows? Some people may say that Peely Bone has a bit of a minifigure problem, but those are the people that really care about figures.
So I guess with the value, we don't have a clear winner. I think it's pretty split down the middle. I don't think it's really a clear winner. So let's go, let's go to our next category, which are the minifigures. A couple things to say about the minifigures. If you could just hang tight, Daniel Lewa, for a slight little ramble. Peely Bone is a figure himself. He's an action figure. I don't think it's necessary. When I was building him, I didn't feel like, where was the minifigure? Because you're building sort of an action figure displayable thing. Sure, a minifigure could go on a base plate next to him, and that would always be appreciated. Especially if it was a Peely Bone minifigure, because that would look amazing. The Battle Bus 10 minifigures are all pretty stellar. I think the only two where I wasn't way hyped over were the Battalion Brawler Jonesy and the Bright Bomber. Sorry to the Bright Bomber and Jonesy fans. But the rest were like, wow, like the Cuddle Team Leader just doesn't seem real. The Drift, the Raven don't seem real. Trespasser, Elite, Cube Assassin are just cool in Lego form. But here's the main gripe that I wanted to share now that I've actually built the sets and gotten the feeling. And I don't want to be a Debbie Downer right now, but let's be honest, Daniel Lewa. All those 10 skins in the Battle Bus, it's amazing because they are the mascots and representatives of Fortnite for the most part. Maybe we're missing a Fish Sticks and a Beef Boss. But let's be honest, none of those are who we are actually playing as in Fortnite, right? And some people do. Right? And you'll be fans of those skins, but let's be honest, we're all playing as Deku and The Weeknd and Bara Durr Burger. I mean, and like some of the more zany variants like Phantom Meowscles. That's what I really be seeing in these lobbies, is the cross IP ones and some of the more zany ones like we covered in our top 100 Fortnite figures list. That's who people like to play as. I don't see a lot of generic Bright Bombers. I don't see Adventure Peelies, and I don't see regular rare Meowskulls in Fortnite lobbies. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yes, except I don't agree that much because I played mostly on Switch, and my Switch lobbies are mostly AI bots playing Ramirez. So, but yes, most people are going to play the cool IP tie-in stuff. We saw with a lot of commenters on the top 100 Fortnite figs we want to see in real life. People have Fortnite original skins that they also really like to play as, but they tend to be a little more unique. I think the Battle Bus offers a good variety, though, a good spread of the boring to cool, because things aren't going to be cool unless there's something boring to contrast with, you know? So
yes. And it's a good starting point. It's a good baseline starting point, those essential iconics. It is good, though, to have the Battle Bus because in this hypothetical scenario, you're only getting one. But if you're getting 2 Fortnite sets, as long as one of them is the Battle Bus, you have enough minifigures to count for all your other sets, if that makes sense. Like, I don't feel like my Durr Burger needed a minifigure because I already had the 10 from the Battle Bus.
That's a very good point, yeah. It is an interesting strategy where instead of distributing through all the sets, so you have to get all of them, there's like, all right, here's all of them. One set. Get it and you'll be happy. That's awesome.
So if we're giving points, then I guess the Battle Bus gets the first point in the minifigure category. Granted, it's hard to rank a set that's not really a minifigure type set on minifigures. That's kind of like ranking a comedy movie on its horror. What that brings me into is the build experience. Build experience is where Peelybone absolutely decimates the Battle Bus completely. And the Battle Bus isn't terrible. There is a lot of repetition. The fun stuff is kind of the add-ons you do at the end, you know, the balloon, that top part, and then adding the satellite pipe, all those fun little things. That's where the funness came in. But the base school bus build itself is very repetitive and very generic and nothing that crazy about it at all. Whereas in the Peelybone build, you're like, what am I even building right now? That's what the whole set is for, basically, is for the build experience. Because I'm trying to think of another Lego set like it, like maybe a different buildable figure, but wow, that's really a one-of-a-kind build.
I haven't built it yet, but even just visually looking at it and seeing some of the techniques and strategies used to even just get the angle of the foot on the base plate is insanity. So like, yeah, definitely I think that's gonna have to get the point for that one.
Some of the parts on the Battle Bus felt like building the Daily Bugle with just 21 windows times 21 and then just layering that on top of top. So the build is okay. So for build experience, we'll 100% give the point to Peelybone in our book. But you brought up the look of it, the display ability, which would be our next category. And this one is extremely tough. The reason that it's tough is because Peelybone is a display set. You're not supposed to really play with it. You can articulate its arms. You're not really supposed to play with it. You're supposed to display it on your shelf and look at it. It has a name tag, everything. The reason I think it's tough, though, is because the Battle Bus is iconic. Like, if you have Fortnite, any Fortnite fans, they'll probably recognize who Peelybone is for sure. But the Battle Bus, even the silhouette of it with the balloon and the blue bus itself, you know that is Fortnite. So I'm kind of torn.
That is tricky. I'm at the age now where when I have friends that come over to see Lego display, they're like, oh, whatever, building, whatever. Whoa, whoa, Bara-Dur, oh my gosh, you know? So I'm trying to like imagine if I had a Battle Bus or Peelybone, what's the thing that would be like mind-blowing? For Fortnite fans, yeah, I think the Battle Bus will be like, whoa, Battle Bus, so cool. But I think generally the Peelybone will have more wow factor and people will see it like, what the heck? Like the banana intestines, oh my gosh. So the Battle Bus is more iconic, but I think the Peelybone might have to take the point just because the sheer wow factor when it's on display.
And then we have play experience. And this is all another category that surprised me.
Oh, okay.
Because if I'm just being honest with you, bro, now that I built a Battle Bus, there are almost zero play features on the Battle Bus. Like you would kind of expect it from a set with 10 minifigures, a big minifigure scale. The only feature is you could take the top off of the Battle Bus and put it back on and put your minifigures in and put your minifigures out, if you call that a function. But there really are no actual play functions besides moving the car, moving your figures, and taking the top off.
Yeah, fair point.
Which
but Peelybone?
I don't think Peelybone has more play experience, but it's almost equivalent because you can move his arms, you can take his gun off, you can take his pickaxe off and articulate him.
Yeah,
How is that any worse than moving your stuff around with the battle bus?
I guess the one thing you could say is like, well, if you're a kid or something and you are like, oh, you're flying the bus around, it's gonna be a lot harder. Like, oh, I'm gonna attack with my Peelybone, right? Like the way it's built, it's not built so you can like take it off and play with it as an action figure. It's built as a posable statue, basically, right?
That's correct. Yeah, you can't really move him around like an action figure. He's fixated in place, so you're right. The edge does go to Battle Bus. We'll give it the point there. So that's really 2-2 for the Battle Bus versus Peelybone. Maybe it is split down the middle. Obviously, I mean, the obvious and apparent answer is it's basically display and build versus minifigures and play.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, it's basically a battle of the greats at this point. Both of these sets, absolutely phenomenal for what they are. Like, top of their class. Like, if you want top of class building experience, Peelybone. Top of class minifig experience, playset, besides the lack of apparent functions. Battle Bus. Like, yeah, you cannot, that's the thing, you cannot go wrong with both. So whatever you choose to get, you'll enjoy. But I think it does come down to if you want figures or not. And I'll be honest, if I had $100, I am walking in and getting the Battle Bus because I love figures. I think it would be awesome to have all the characters that I can play as in Fortnite in real life. And I think that would just excite me a lot more.
Yeah, next time you play as Bright Bomber or Meowskulls, let me know.
Don't tempt me.
But that's the sad part, is not because in that hypothetical, you would miss out on this awesome Peelybone building experience. So it's rough. I guess it's hard to compare two greats. Because I think the one that I enjoyed more was actually the Peelybone. And I'm literally a minifigure guy. But
that's interesting.
It's interesting. I really don't know which one's better. That's the conclusion that we came to. They're both too great to even compare. So we are nincompoops for trying to do it in a video.
Well, that's because this is the kind of things that are going to go through people's minds, right? If they're a Fortnite fan and they have $100, it's just, this is the stuff that's interesting to discuss. It's like, well, what are you going to use that money for?
So maybe this video helped inform your decision a little bit on what you value, what you should get, but they are both pretty stellar. So get what you want, and make sure to use creator code SAKUGA within the Fortnite item shop when buying any Fortnite cosmetics.
Special shout out to all of our phenomenal channel members, including Uncle Norm, Uncle Mike, Oliver Jade the Ginger Lender, Dr. Dan PhD, I Am Lidme, MC Goat, Mary Kay, Richie, Rage, and Cesar. You guys are all awesome. And if you made it this far in the video, you will be recognized as a real one by putting Sandy Gast in the comments below.